Welcome back to my latest video. So hopefully we've learned a lot. If not, and if you're stuck with anything, just leave a comment below and I'll certainly help you if I can. No promises, right enough, and I don't bite. Okay, thanks very much. So, like radio buttons, form data for selected checkboxes are name / value attribute pairs, where the value attribute is optional. It's best practice to include it in with any checkboxes or radio buttons on the page. Add a value attribute to the checkbox for convenience. Set each checkbox value attribute the same as the ID attribute. Let's read that again. Like radio buttons, form data for selected checkboxes are name value pairs, attribute pairs. Well, the value attribute is optional. It's best practice to include it with any checkboxes or radio buttons on the page. Add a value attribute to each checkbox for convenience. Set each checkbox value attribute to the same value as the ID attribute. Right, so checkboxes and value. Right, so one checkbox, two checkbox, three checkboxes, and then we need a value the same as the ID. So I know that's a label. So just after personality we need value equals inverted commas and then LOVING with a capital a lowercase l, and again just after the personality we need value in the second checkbox equals lazy LAZY, and again we need a value. Oh, don't do what I done. And then the ID is energetic. Way. Right, so in order to make the checkbox checked or radio button selected by default, you need to add a checked attribute to it. Here's an example of a radio button with a checked attribute. So we've got input type equals radio blah blah blah, but checked just before it. So input checked type radio name value, so checked just after the input. So there's no need to set a value to the checked attribute. Instead, just add the word checked to the input element. Make sure there's a space between it and other attributes. Make the first button and the first checkbox selected by default. So we're going to make that checked and that checked, but then it's no checked. So the first input right, so the radio button, so make the first radio button checked and make the first checkbox checked. So as you can see, checked and checked. So the footer element is used to define a footer for a document or a section. A footer typically contains information about the author of the document, copyright data, links to the terms of use, contact information and more. After the main element, add a footer element. So after the so we need a footer and a footer. So an open and closing footer, then nest a P element. So we need a paragraph element and a closing paragraph with a backslash, and then copy and paste again. Copy and paste that. Okay, Control C, and then there, Control V, and as you can see, no copyright, freecodecamp.org at the footer. So turn the existing freecodecamp.org, so freecodecamp.org only text into a link by enclosing it in an anchored element. The href attribute should be set to, so Control C, highlight, Control C, put the cursor there, shift and less than a href equals, so hyperreference equals inverted commas, point to the free code camp, control V, labeling freecodecamp.org as your label, and again do not forget your anchor tag, closing tag, or it'll just no work. So notice that everything you've added to the page so far is inside the body element. All page content elements that should be rendered to the page go inside the body element. However, other important information goes in the head element. The head element is used to contain metadata about the document, such as title, links to style sheets and scripts. Metadata is information about the page that is displayed directly on the page. Add a head element above the body element. So just take the cursor, 1, 2, tab across twice, body, head, and a closing head. So just a tag, basically, a head tag. The title element determines what browsers should show in the title bar or the tab for the page. Add a title element with the head element and using the text below. So again, just highlight the cat photo app, Control C, and in the head we'll do 1, 2 tabs, title, a closing title, and inside the title we'll put cat photo app. So if it was working, it'd come up in one of the tabs basically. So notice the entire content of the page are nested within an HTML element. The HTML element is the root element of an HTML page and wraps all your content on the page. You can also specify the language of your page by adding the language attribute to the HTML. Add the language attribute with the value en to the opening HTML tag to specify the language. So just at the L, language equals inverted comma en for English, and on we go. All pages should begin with doc type HTML. The special string is known as a declaration and ensures the browser tries to meet industry-wide specifications. The doc type HTML tells the browser that the document is an HTML document, which is the latest version of HTML. Add this declaration as the first line of code. So again, just highlight, Control C, Control V. No, don't do that then. So highlight again, Control C. Oh, wait a minute, Control V. Ah, there we go. Just remember that, because you might need to type it again later on. And wait, you can set the browser behavior by adding meta elements in the head. Here's an example. So a meta tag, so meta attribute equals value. Inside the head element, nest a meta element with the attribute char set to the value of UTF-8, which tells the browser how to encode characters for your page. Note that the meta element is a void element. With that last change, you have completed the cat photo app project. Congratulations. So I would put it under the title, I think so anyway. So a meta tag char set equals inverted commas UTF-8 lowercase. Whoa, yabba dabba fucking do, excuse the French. That's me finished. Okay, thanks for watching my latest video. If you need any help with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SQL, etc., then hit me up with a comment. Okay, thanks very much for watching my latest video. Bye.